We've all bought a new game with the best intentions. You install it, play the opening hour, maybe even tell everyone how excited you are about it. Then another game appears, work gets busy, you're too tired to start a 40-hour adventure. Suddenly the game you absolutely had to own has been sitting untouched for 6 months. This week we're talking about the games we bought at exactly the wrong time. Great games we never gave a fair chance because life, or other releases, or even our own terrible buying habits got in the way. All this and more on this week's Pixel Parents podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I'm your host Liam Kelvin, and today I'm of course joined by the bearded one, Scott, the OG tastemaker. How are we, Scott?
What's happening, you fucks? Let me derail, Liam. I'm not even going to let you ask me how I am because
okay,
fuck it. Let's have a conversation about the Pepto-Bismol advert.
Right, diarrhea.
And the song. What the fuck is that all about? Like, why?
It's memorable.
It is memorable, but why is the person with diarrhea Scottish?
True. I mean, I don't know if we have a reputation for that. I mean, we do have a reputation for the swally, so that could cause diarrhea. It's
the most ridiculous advert ever. It is catchy. I mean, fair fucks to them. If we were watching an episode of Mad Men, they'd have done their job right. Don Draper would be fucking, silly it, but I just can't stand it, and I can't stop singing it. Like,
yeah,
it's today. All of today has been spent saying if you've got nausea, heartburn, indigestion, like upset stomach, diarrhea. I can't help it. I can't fucking help it. It's so annoying, but it's just been something that's been playing on my mind quite a lot, Liam. Like,
yeah, I get it.
The person that has done this advert equally deserves a knighthood, but also deserves to be fucking executed and burned at the stake because that song is fucking is witchcraft. So annoying.
I know. It really is. Like, it's marketing, though. I mean, it's effective. I mean, here we are talking about it. Here we are talking about diarrhea. Mission accomplished.
I mean, I could have a long conversation about diarrhea if anyone wants to.
Good Lord, this podcast is taking a turn already. A couple of minutes in,
I'm talking shite already.
Hey, bar all your shite talk. How are you this week?
I'm fine. It's been good. It's been a good week. The wee fella's continuing to develop. Sleep is still being missed, but also caught up on where I can, and games have been played. Well, game has been played, so I've been quite busy with one game in particular, which I'm very excited to talk about. But apart from that, it's been a pretty decent week. The return of Scottish football to disappoint us all. Well, to disappoint me mainly, as it usually does. So that's also nice. All we need now is just the English Premier League to return and everything to go back to normal. When Arsenal fucking shitting their pants, but it's been decent. How have you been?
Yeah, it's good, man. Good. It's I've been playing like a lot of Xbox this week, and usually I have it set up in the front in the living room, but I've brought it in the back here, so I'm like going in between power cables, so I just can't be asked plugging the PlayStation back in. To be fair, kind of stopped in my tracks a little bit with the Assassin's Creed Platinum. Which is rare. It might be the first one that I've not platinumed in a very long time, just because I can't be asked. But bar that, yeah, it's been a good week with kids and that. My run of long weekends is officially over, so it is all back to normal and
generational.
I know it was like 4 weeks of it, man. It was great. I think I'll do that again next year. To be honest with you, it was a good way to kind of navigate the summer.
Yeah,
went to see Spider-Man Brand New Day with the wee man last Friday, which was tremendous. Absolutely enjoyed it. I couldn't help but notice in the news this week seeing that there was a screening that was cleared out because of somebody doing a horrendous fart. and I found that to be the highlight story of the week, because I would be absolutely fuming if I'm watching that film, looking forward to it, and someone's dropped an absolute egger at nowhere. Because
that's just 4DX, man. That's just that's just oh god, that's just Hulk's taint in 4DX.
I know. It's interesting with like the Sony Marvel deal, and like I think they have a stipulation that they have to have a member of the Avengers, the MCU, appearing in these Spider-Man films. So you had Doctor Strange last time, Iron Man before that. This time it's Hulk, but it's definitely by a country mile the best use of it. It didn't feel just like tertiary. They kind of got better at that as each one of these films have gone on. And yeah, the summer of Tom Holland just continues, man. The boy's just done great.
What about Zendaya? We just forgetting about her, Liam?
No, she was absolutely tremendous in it as well. Like,
Spider-Man woke now.
No, not at all. I mean, it's the whole like friendship thing, and I'll derail it just slightly. The whole friendship thing between them, between like Ned, MJ, and Peter. At the end of the last one, I kind of thought, all right, we're probably just going to do away with it. Maybe they introduce like a Gwen or something like that. But they didn't. They brought it back, but it actually paid off in spades. Like it had like the most emotional moments in the film, and it's because you're familiar with the characters, because it is like just felt like it was ripped right out of the pages of a comic book at points. Couldn't recommend it highly enough. You know, a nice emotional Peter Parker tale, and it was like it felt good to see him stand on his own 2 feet. The best one since Spider-Man 2. You know what I mean? So that's high praise indeed. Spider-Man 2 is probably still my favourite out of them all, because
it's the best superhero movie ever made.
Yeah, and that's saying something. That's going up against the first Spider-Man with Green Goblin. You know what I mean? So
I mean, the first Spider-Man is the best in like my heart, but you know, my head tells me it's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I've said it many times. It's my drunk film. Like if I'm pissed, I'm watching Spider-Man 1. If I want to watch a good movie, I'm watching Spider-Man 2. I might actually watch it the night, to be honest with you. I'm on night feeds tonight, so I think that when we're up with the wee man, I might watch Spider-Man. I might watch the first Spider-Man and just...
It's not a bad shout, man. Not a bad shout.
Fucking Chad Kroger at the top of my lungs all night.
It's that early 2000s vibe about it, but like obviously you get home from the cinema, right? Wee Man's Pure High and Spider-Man. Can we watch like the other ones? I'm like, okay. And No Way Home was on there, so it's like it's got all three. It's cool. More bang for your buck, and it's great. Still love that film. Green Goblin's still obviously a total highlight in it. It's crazy best. Then he wants to watch Spider-Man 3, and I'm like, knock yourself out. And I can pinpoint the moment where you realise, oh shit, and it's actually in the opening credits with the music, and it goes from like the usual Spider-Man score, because it was a different composer they got. And then it just changes into like the symbiote score, and you're like, oh no. And from that point, it's just that feeling of this just isn't going to be the same. I can't get over it from that point in the film, which is so stupid. But yeah, if you go back and watch it, you'll know what I mean. You know what I mean? Not criticising the score, good score, but it's just a bit off. But we need to get us back on track, Scott. So we've got video games to talk this week. Damn video games. But get some housekeeping at the road. So for those old and new, this is the Pixel Parents podcast, which is a weekly gaming show by parents discussing all things gaming whilst raising little ones. You can get new episodes every Friday on YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So please subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss our tired faces. You can also find us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social or email pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. You can also support the show for free at patreon.com/pixelparents, where you get bonus shows, community chat for £0. If you can, drop a wee 5-star review or even share the podcast online with your friends. Whatever you do, it really helps us out. And a big, massive thank you to everybody that does continue to join us each and every week. So, Scott, it has been a week. So, tell me, what good stuff have you been playing lately, sir?
Good stuff? Well, I mentioned I've been playing One Stuff, Liam.
Okay.
And this One Stuff is a game that I mentioned last week, and I can now talk about it in full, because last week I was playing the demo and was very kindly allowed to play it fully for review, and that game is Sovereign Tower. So the ad was given, the fucking ad, what do you call it? The code was given to us by them, but basically it's all I've been playing this week. Like the Steam Deck has just been fucking sat in my lap, and I've been powering through Sovereign Tower like mad. For review, but also just out of enjoyment. So by the time this podcast drops, it should be available on Steam. So it's just PC only right now. But Sovereign Tower, its Steam description, to make it easier to sort of explain, is you play as the sovereign of a magical tower. In this story-rich round-table management RPG, you recruit eccentric knights, assign quests, and balance egos whilst carving out your kingdom's destiny. If destiny doesn't go your way, keep turning back time, uncover secrets, and rewrite fate again and again. And in a nutshell, Liam, that's exactly what it is. So it's a round table management RPG. So basically, the way the game works is there is cycles. So think of a cycle like days, and each day has a morning and an afternoon. In the morning, you attend the court, so you go to the audience, and basically they come to you and ask you questions or give you requests. So it might be, to attend a tournament or to save them from a dragon or something else, or something completely different. But then also it could be something as daft as like catching fish, and then like or catching like a magical crab that's bigger than it should be, and you can assign your knights. So you've got a round table of knights. This is where the round table management RPG part comes in, where you have this round table of knights that have their own stats. So one of them, Goberto, is a man fucking hench knight with massive armor who's just strong as all hell. So any strength-based quest you want to try, they want to put him on, he goes and does that. But you don't only have to think about those stats, they've also got their own traits. So some of them might be scared of the dark, or some of them might not like to go out in the woods at night or go out in the woods at all, or some of them might be scared of water, or blah, blah, blah. So you do have to be mindful of, depending on what that quest is, you have to be very mindful on what you're actually asking them to do, and it's fucking excellent. Like, it's so good. It's also just full of humour. Like, every single person that comes to you with a request is hilarious. Like, some of them have really, really horrible stories to tell you, like about slavery or child workers or something like that, and you have to try and work that out within your own kingdom. But people from other kingdoms come to you and ask you for help, and you try and recruit them as well and try and ally with them, basically, for better or for worse. But it's just great. Like, I've honestly, I've been loving my time with it. It's just, and it totally carries you through. Like, every single character has their own backstory, and you can talk to them as the game goes on. So down the bottom left of the screen, it usually gives you like a picture of them if they're ready to speak to you, and then you can have like a tiny wee cutscene with them, and it just plays out. The artwork's excellent, and it kind of plays out like that. The writing's fantastic, and it honestly, like, there was no point have I played this game have I felt, oh fucking hell, like, gonna hurry up. It's been very much reading every single thing that comes up, because you have to. Like, I'm notorious, and we know last week I'm notorious for skipping dialogue and cutscenes. If humanly possible, I'll skip everything. And with this, you just can't. Like, you have to basically wait for everything to go through and read it, and it's honestly, it's so worth it in the end. But if you do fuck it all up, like if, for example, you send one of your wee people out and they die on a quest, because that can happen, and it's permanent. It's permanent. If you continue the game, you can make that permanent if you want to play it like that. But you've also got this time travel mechanic. It's called Demon Power, where basically you can go back to any day and replay what happened that day. So if you want to make different decisions based on the quest that you've been given, you can. If you want to send different knights out, you can. So you're given that option, and you're actively sort of told to do that as well. Like, it teases you with it. Like, you've done well this act, but maybe you could go try to do it a wee bit better, because it's possible you can do. It's like, fuck, right, okay. I don't know if I will, but it's just been, honestly, it's been phenomenal. Runs excellently on the Steam Deck. You can play it touchscreen as well, so just sitting there tapping the buttons on touchscreen, which is great if you're holding a baby, and fucking just touchscreening it if you can. But it's just been class. Like, it's something that completely took me by surprise. It was obviously recommended in looking for game from Lucy James, but I just thought, I'll give it a go and see, because it's not usually my type of game, and I thought it looked cool, and it's completely taken me by surprise, Liam. Like, it's one that I would recommend wholeheartedly if you have a handheld gaming PC, if you have a PC in general. Play it 5 hours, 6 hours or something like that. It's not a long game. You will batter through it. And it's just, I think that there's going to be a ton of replayability in terms of the decisions that you make, and trying to make those decisions differently, or trying to upgrade your knights differently, because as they level up, you can boost their stats. You can also boost them with items that you get, and with different weapons and stuff like that as well. So it's like there's constant ways to change how you play it, and the game basically adapts to your playstyle. Until the point of the end in Act 3 where everything's much harder and you're like, oh fuck, I haven't upgraded properly. It's like I really should think about what I'm doing next. But it's been brilliant. Like
Nice.
one point in it is that I'll try not to spoil this too much, but it's like one of the quests that you go on tasks you with assassinating a certain thing. Right? It's just like a thing, and depending on how you do that, it could go the way you think it's going to go, where you kill it, or one of the other outcomes might be that something else happens and someone joins you, or it's not just black and white. There's loads of grey in between, and those grey bits are usually the bits where all the fun happens. So there's a lot of grey in there, and it's worth a go. Like it's as I say, it's cool as all hell, and I've been loving my time with it. So I think that even after I finish playing it, it's going to stay in that Steam Deck, and I will pick it back up again. I think it would be silly. I don't think there's any plans for it right now, but I think they would be silly to not consider like a console version or a Switch version. I think that it's perfect for it, and I think it would do fucking really well. But it's absolutely brilliant. Like as I say, it's been reviewed today. And I think that's coming out. People saying that they've really, really enjoyed it, really love playing it, and I couldn't agree more. It's one that I think that if you're thinking about playing something on Steam, have a look for Sovereign Tower, because it's worth a go.
Nice. And could I push you for a score?
Well, you can, Liam. You can push me. I think that there are moments in it where there are a little bit of gripes there, not all perfect. And even just those gripes, it's just because I'm stupid and I've made the wrong decision. Or you do sometimes rely on that demon power a bit too much to kind of go back and replay it all over again, which the game does a good job of. If you've read one dialogue option before, it says your character can step in and be like, look, I know you're going to ask me this, so just skip to the point and we'll finish this conversation now, which is nice. Like I think they're aware of the fact that you don't want to read through all this dialogue all over again. But I think that if I was to score it now, I'd say it's a 9 out of 10. I think it's honestly one of the best games I've played this year, and tiny game from a tiny studio. It's just
nice,
brilliant stuff.
Nice.
I think that when I look at the details on it, it's I'm just trying to get you there. So it's developed by Wild Wits Games. So definitely worth checking out.
Excellent. How much is it going for? Do you know?
That's a very good question, Liam. I was just about to try and find it, but I can't find it on there. But I don't think it's much. Give me a second, I'll tell you. Leave it with me.
Okay. We'll still finding that. I suppose you mentioned Steam Deck. I'm assuming that's still like top of the tree in terms of like the go-to whilst the wee man's still developing.
It's genuinely there's genuinely nowhere else I'd be able to play anything. Like it's not happening. But it's what do you call it? It's become like a total crutch. Like it's just I can take it to the toilet if I want, or I can sit and play it. I can sit and play it. I was saying that to my wife last night. I was like, I've got this game that I want to try and finish for this basically. Like, well, I'll take my Steam Deck downstairs just in case, and it means that then I've got it for everything on there. So, it's perfect for that. Where is it? I should know. No, I don't know. No, not sure. I doubt it would be less than 20 odd quid though. 15 quid or something like that. I can't imagine it'll be anything more than that.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. We'll investigate whilst I ramble.
Ramble away.
But as I mentioned this week, a lot of Xbox for me, so I've continued with Halo campaign evolved. What I've learned since then is that my Halo skills are definitely lacking. It's definitely something that I'm playing through it, and still, as I was saying last week, thoroughly enjoying the experience. If anything, it's just made me hungry for more Halo, just classic Halo. I know, like, obviously we're in two different sides of the fence on this one, but and when I think back to like just that golden era of Halo, that 1, 2, 3, and where gaming was at that time, it's got me feeling very nostalgic this week. For just like all things of that era. Like it's just so different now, and that's probably the reason why they've struggled to kind of make Halo as relevant outside of old farts like myself. But again, when I'm playing through it, I'm kind of got this feeling of thank God I didn't pay full whack for it, which is terrible.
That's what we were saying last week.
I know, it's just, but I'm still, that being said, it's not like it's bad. It's just more like I'm happy to have this experience, get in, get out, and kind of just leave it there. You know what I mean? But it has just been fun. It's been fun just kind of going back and revisiting it. I would have loved it if they would come out and announce like they're doing the same like with Halo 2. I know they've got like a wee tease at the end, but more just officially just to kind of back-to-back drop something like this. But I know it's obviously they're transitioned to that new engine and things like that as well. But there is just something so nice just about having that nostalgic gaming sense, you know, that little scratch, or that little itch scratch to say, but it's because we're of that generation that can be nostalgic for all these games. Like, give it 15, 20 years and people will be nostalgic for Fortnite, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It won't be us, but it'll be the youths of the day. But there was something about it. It's the same way, like, if you look back at, like, you know, old trends, and Halo was just such a quintessential part, like at Olympics, Scott. It was such a quintessential part. Like, that was like the Mac Daddy of this industry at one point. You look back at like that Halo 3 launch in particular, and it has got me begging the question. It's like, have I got a Master Chief Collection run in me? You know what I mean? Like, can I go back? I remember like a couple of years ago going back and playing like Halo Reach on that, which is a blast. I'm like, maybe I should go back and play ODST. But I'm wanting to just go straight to Halo 3. Halo 2 I love. Halo 3, man, it's just so special, and that's all that this has really been doing. Campaign Evolved, I'm like, man, I think it's time. I think it's time that I just go back and properly just enjoy it and taking a beat. Because in between that, I've kind of been avoiding playing it on the ROG. I think my consensus after last week was it's just not as enjoyable an experience on there as what it is on the Series X. But Denshattack, man, that's just been the thing in between constantly. Like, that game just keeps on giving, and I'm deliberately still just kind of eking it out in small sessions. But Jesus, man, like when that game gets going and it's like an onion, it has layers. it keeps on going. I mean, I don't know if you've had
we do love our onion games on this podcast.
Mate,
man. There's no part of me that desires to either. I listened to Alex and the guys talk about it over on the Mounties Fielder, like kind of in the last episode, and there's nothing about it that inspires any confidence in me wanting to play it, which is strange because it seems like the kind of game that I would love and enjoy, but I just have no. It means switching on my Xbox, and I can't be arsed. I'll put it that way.
Is it not? It's on Switch as well.
I think it means I didn't have to fucking buy it. No, I'm not doing
honestly,
that.
Like, I think that game would be perfect on Switch. It would pop on it, man. But it's one of those ones that it's really hard to be. We've been speaking about it for a couple of weeks, but I think it's quite a hard game to sell onto people, because it's like, yeah, you know, you've kind of got that Jet Set Radio, Tony Hawk, Crazy Taxi vibe in an anime, or just kind of put into a blender. But it's one of those games that you just won't get until you play it, because it's a bit bonkers. Like, the premise is insane, but it's so well made. It runs like a dream. The music in it is just like, it's become something. You mentioned like your diarrhea song, like the theme tunes that they've got in this, just at the main menu, constantly stuck in my head. But it's just like, you know, it's just so, I've got to respect just how much love and attention's went into this game. Like, and when you're playing it, it's exhilarating. The courses don't overstay their welcome, but it just has that one more go nature about it, and it's absolutely made for handheld. So I've been playing a lot of that on the ROG, for sure. And then I did have the thought, because for the first time first time in a very long time, I've realised it's like I've reached that point where I'm not going to be playing football games anymore. Like, you know,
especially now, fucking EA are owned by the villain of the video game industry.
Yeah, exactly. Layoffs ahead, which is shite, but
which is fucking pish.
We've had enough. But it's one of those ones. Like, I was browsing the store and I seen like UFC 27. I had no idea. And usually at this time of year, I'm kind of hungry for it, looking at career modes. And when I look back at last year's one, probably my least played ever installment, which I was like, I just have no desire to go back to this. And if I do, I'll just play that, or I'll just emulate Pro Evolution Soccer 5 and just, you know, be quite happy staying in there doing a Master League. And that's growth. That is growth. But What is not growth is just me still fighting the good fight. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is still there, and that has reignited a curiosity in me, because I've not really played much multiplayer stuff because Black Ops 7 wasn't the best, but I did go back to it again and enjoying it more. Just they've obviously stabilised it a bit, but I'm actually quite intrigued. Not looking forward to, intrigued by Modern Warfare 4, so I'm going to keep my eye out on that beta. But we've also, I think by the time this episode goes live as well, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls will be out. I want to know, Scott, are you going to be there day one?
No.
Damn, I'm so lying on.
I was wanting to. I would really want to, Liam, but I mean, I can barely get upstairs. I tried to come on and play Call of Duty with you the other night, and baby had been fed. Everything was going great, and then he woke up, and it's like, oh, fuck that, it's done now. It's fucking just shit all over my plans. And the thing is, every other night between 9 and 12, that wee guy will sleep like a fucking log in his class, because you can get 3 hours just to kind of fanny about. Prime gaming hours for me, Liam. But yeah, it's just, I really want to play Tokon Fighting Souls, especially because they announced like some random wee sort of mini game in there as well. It's like a wee sort of 3D fighter bit, which is class, but or an arena fighter kind of thing. But it's just the thought of trying to get into a fighting game now at this age with these hands, Liam, arthritic fingers already, with this time that I have, just ain't happening. Like, especially a fighter like that, it's too much. But
I mean, I've been tempted because, as I mentioned, my plan was to play this with the wee man. He likes fighting games and it's Marvel, and I'm like, cool, but I'd just be playing it exclusively for that. So I'm like, I think I'm just going to hold off, because we're about to hit the crest of a large wave of just a glut of games coming at us. And I think as well, you think about your time, and you'll be thinking about it very acutely just now. But I think we're all the same. You think about the time, but also the cost element as well. You're like, man, like you can't just go out and just buy every single game going. And that kind of, we'll be shades of that in this main topic this week. So I'm finding myself just being increasingly selective with it. But to be fair, I've had a lot of joy at a Game Pass, I have to say, of late. Beast of Reincarnation was up this week, but I've not touched it yet. And I'm going to take the same approach with Tokon Fighting Souls. Like, if the reviews are kind of telling me that there's something there that you should go check out, if I'm not really that fussed about it, then I'll probably just go. But I don't know why, I'm expecting Tokon Fighting Souls to be sitting in a sea of nines. You know what I mean? But I'm hoping that it is the case, and I maybe think twice about it. And, who knows what happens, Scott? But guys, there's just so much. I think I'm enjoying this lull just now in terms of the new releases, and it is nice to kind of go back.
I've played more old stuff than I have in the past. In the past, but it's just, but it's I'm excited for what's to come, but I've also got a power of shite that I already want to play. So it's just like, I've got nothing left, man. I'm Ian Beale. I've got no time left. But yeah.
I mean, we're just getting news there as well. Seeing at my phone that the Halo studios have been hit by layoffs, Scott, after the Campaign Evolve launch. So isn't this just a wonderful, wonderful timeline?
I'm telling you, villains of the video game fucking industry, Xbox are vying for top spot now, if not already on top spot. I got immense amounts of hate on our TikTok due to this, Liam. And listen, folks, if you're complaining about me playing 5 minutes of a game that has been remade 3 fucking times, you need to have a fucking long look at yourselves in the mirror. I've played Halo. I've finished Halo. I played Halo 4 with Liam. I played Halo in the past on my original Xbox, which I also had Max Payne on. Right? So don't talk to me about fucking playing 5 minutes of a game, of a remake, of a fucking pish game. Like, geese fucking peace. But that game was always set up to fail. Because who the fuck wants to play that now? Right? You do, because you're nostalgic for this old pish, right? It's pish. It's old, and people want to play these games again because, it's like you could have streamed it, or you could have fucking downloaded it illegally and played it, right? Fair enough. But Halo was already there to play. Like, what's the point in this? I just don't see it. I still don't understand it because it was never going to be a success.
Yeah.
But then it just totally begs the question: is it if they're laying off people from Halo Studios now? Then what fucking chance do they have for whatever's next? Like, it's just sunsetting that studio already before they've had a chance to actually do something new. It's just it drives me insane, Liam. But I just fuck every single person that can't take a video game take seriously. Like, that game's been remade. Kiss my fucking ass.
I'm going to clip that.
You done me dirty. You done me fucking dirty last week. You done twice.
So funny. Welcome back. But I think it's, do you know what's interesting? Because at night time, I've mentioned before on the show, right? I would like to watch, like a lot of video game retrospectives and stuff. The type of that good shit that gets you to sleep. You know what I mean? Where it's just like a nice monotonous voice like mine, but talking through very, very mundane, but interesting, cool stuff about the industry. This one, I think it was Nick390, I think it was. He does some pretty cool like history of videos. I'd recommend you check them out, and puts a lot of good work into them. Really good videos, well over like the hour and a half mark. Some crackers. But he had the history of like Halo on there, and not so much what it was about, but it was like just a reminder of what it used to be like. Because it was like they would ship a game, these developers, they'd take a month or something like that off, then they'd be back, and if it was a hit, it's like, well, let's plan it through. And talk about Halo, talk about Epic would have been the same, like Gears of War, anything that was like an instant franchise, it's like they just worked on that for 10 years. Now, I think the depressing reality of what we're witnessing, it feels like once they finish a game, it's treated as a singular project, and they will just downscale immediately to a skeleton crew if they're lucky. If not, they'll just kibosh the lot of them. And then it's like, right, okay, let's just kind of hope that something else turns into a franchise, and that they almost kind of assign games based on this very much like project team basis, as opposed to, no, this is a team in a studio that's going to be there for a long time. And we only lose as gamers at that point, because there's no innovation. There's so much talent. These people are absolute wizards, magicians, making this actual magic that we enjoy and talk shite about every week. And it's depressing. And then you factor that in with the rest of the good news in terms of gamers losing. Just about Xbox trying to be villains, and it was like over the weekend there, it was the price increases of the Xbox were felt, and it was just like absurd, because like, what was it? It went up about 130 quid, and so an Xbox Series X with the terabyte storage, so the one that we have, that has went up to $669.99. That's with the disk drive, $619 if you want all digital, and don't get me started on that. But the Xbox Series S is 429 quid now, which is almost the same price as the Series X was at launch.
Bonkers.
And if you compare that to like the price of a PS5, well, PS5 is £569, right? So the PS5 is now officially cheaper than the Series X. Always has been though. But the PS5 Pro is £789. It's like, well, if you're going that far, you're like, well, just save up. You'd be tempted to, but I'm just going to save a wee bit more and get that instead. And I'm just like, this is absolutely bonkers. Like, it just feels like this year in particular, it has just been shit after shit that's coming out of this industry as the world is just kind of going absolutely mental. But it seems to be gaming that's been hit so far. The canary in the proverbial coal mine. But I couldn't help but kind of chuckle though. I'm like, man, the Series S, who the fuck's buying that? You know what I mean? Like,
who the fuck bought it then? Like, never mind now. Like,
it was always the cheaper option.
Aye, it was a cheaper option, but it was also, a sacrifice to buy. You were never getting the creme de la creme. But it's just, I can't talk about Xbox, Liam. I can't do it because I just want to fucking go on a diatribe about how annoying they are and how they fucking irritate me at every single turn. Like, I mentioned to you the other day, I want to sell my fucking Xbox. I want to sell my Series X because I never gets fucking turned on. Like, The only reason I might not do it is because it's got Lost Odyssey on it. That's it. That and the Dead or Alive games. Those are the only things keeping me there. But it's just fucking mad. Like, mad.
I think it's better just to keep hold of all this stuff now, because if you ever, not that you would, but it's like, if you ever change your mind, it's a really expensive decision to reverse.
Indeed.
You're not going to get the same value back because the pre-owned market's, the arse has collapsed out of it. And also, like, I think it's good to just try and build up a little curated collection of these things, even if it is something like there's a totem to anger for you. I mean, if anything, it makes me look forward into the future. Like, GTA 6 might have hopefully the same impact, that same just little lift on the industry for a moment, as what you saw like with Spider-Man Brand New Day in Hollywood over the past week, breaking records left, right and centre. And it's like, it gives us that glimmer of hope. You know what I mean? Like, where everybody in the community is turning up for something. And it might be the case, even if you're not there, and if you're not playing Grand Theft Auto 6, you're not excited about it, when you see that thing like smashing all records and all the rest of it, it might just be just that little bit of like, okay, right, it's nice to see just a little success story coming from gaming that we can talk about for a wee while, instead of just
I don't think it's going to be that, Liam. I want it to be. I really do want it to be, and it is going to be successful because it's Grand Theft Auto. But then you're going to have the union chat. You're going to have all the other pish that gets thrown about it. We're going to hear about crunch that's never ended since it's been announced. It's just like, aye. And every single day that passes that we don't have another trailer for that game frightens me more and more, Liam. Frightens me more and more.
Yeah, I know. It's can't believe like we're in August and we've not had anything else. But again, it's a very fascinating exercise in how little you could market something and still be a success.
Yeah.
Literally, if it's something that sells itself, I mean, just put the date out there and we'll see what happens. But
imagine that they just don't put another trailer out for it. It's like, fuck it, we don't need it.
At this point, man, all bets are off, aren't they? All bets are off. But I say that, and the probably trailers went live just as this episode's gone live, which I'd take. But you know, we've gone and jinxed ourselves.
Look at that trailer. Can you see that big jiggly arse?
I know, but I digress. We're going to move on to the main topic now. But before we do, if you enjoy the show and you want to support us, you can. It won't cost you a penny, so just go join our free Patreon community. Visit patreon.com/pixelparents. You'll get everything, including side quests with Scott, for free all the time. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. Visit youtube.com/@pixelparentspodcast. Now, Scott, main topic time. So this one, it's all about games we bought at the wrong time. It's a chance for us to kind of point and laugh at ourselves, but we want to talk about the games we bought exactly the wrong time in life, not necessarily games we disliked. In some cases, they might actually genuinely be brilliant. They've just arrived and we're too busy, too tired, maybe completely invested in something else entirely. Sometimes as well, it might be a case we've returned months later and we've finally understood what everyone loved. Might also be just first failed attempt completely colours your opinion. Sometimes the games joins the backlog, never to be seen again. There's so many ways we could do it. But I thought we'll start here with a game that deserved far more of your attention than you gave it, Scott. Now, I know that you've probably got a laundry list of games here that are still in the cellophane. But I think, you know, off the top, you know, what game do you say that you bought that just deserved more of your attention? You couldn't quite just give it the love.
I can point you to an exact day and an exact picture on my Instagram that exists of me holding four games at once. That game is the 16th of November 2020, which just so happens to be the day that I bought four games all at once. It was when did the PS5 release?
Oh damn, yeah. It was the 19th maybe. Was it 19th November 2020?
The 12th of November, 19th in UK, sorry. So, just before the PS5 released, I had bought myself four games to enjoy. At that moment, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which was pish, Demon's Souls, and another game, Liam. A limited edition game. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a game that deserved more time and more attention from me. I played that game for a bit. I played the game for a few hours, and I had a bug very early on where I tried to pick something up and it didn't work, and it just spoiled
Right.
everything for me. Just ruined the immersion for me. So I was like, fuck this, I'm not playing
Yeah.
this anymore, and that's why I never played it again.
It's a really good starting point, actually, because you're bang on. A console launch is a fucking nightmare and like prime real estate for this exact problem. For me, if I was to compare it with the PS5 launch, I felt it was Watch Dogs Legion, and I knew it at the time because I'm like, it's not that the game's like a pure 10 out of 10, but I remember just enjoying it. But then I was pulled away with Demon's Souls and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I think it would have been Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War as well, like something to play online. It was just a little like smorgasbord of things to do and just kind of try out the game. You know, Astrobot, Miles Morales, and all that. These are the headline hitters. But then Watch Dogs Legion, that was the one. And I remember like that whole year just saving. We were in the pandemic, so it's just kind of like you could save even harder because you weren't doing anything. And that was before like Just Eat got crazy priced. And it was like, right, okay, we can save stuff, and I'm going to get like these like 5 games, I think it was, for launch. And yeah, I just feel like really bad. But at the same time, I think about what I was playing when I bought it. I'd have been enjoying myself, you know, like with Assassin's Creed, Miles Morales, and stuff like that, as I'd mentioned. But I think I had realised it'd set in definitely by like the January, February of that time when it's like, no, I'm kidding myself on because the other stuff starts to come out, and that's the kind of the big thing, isn't it? Like you've got such a little attention gap and window before you're kind of admittedly, and it's probably not the best practice, but they're like, ooh, new shiny thing, and you move on. It's definitely been a big problem. And it's never a nice feeling because you feel guilty. It's the buyer's remorse, isn't it? Because you're like, why have I bought that? But I really liked it, but I just can't quite get to it. And it's very much a first world problem of first world problems. But
the stupid thing for me is that out of all those games, the one that I probably played most was Mortal Kombat. Like it's fucking mad. Like that was like, I think that was like an edition that was updated. It was like an updated edition for the PS4 version, so you had more in it. It was like I was playing that more than I was playing like Demon's Souls, for example. Obviously, you were dragging me through Call of Duty, but Assassin's Creed never stood a chance. And you know, you could put any Assassin's Creed game that I've ever bought in this fucking decision here, because it's like I've done the same with Origins, I've done the same with Odyssey, I've done the same with Valhalla here, and then I've done the same with fucking Shadows as well. Like I've bought it and just never fucking played it because I get an hour or 2 in it and I'm like, this is pish, and just never fucking do anything more with it. But the fact that it was Mortal Kombat of all games that was taking my interest, mental, fucking mental.
I mean, I was thinking here, there's other big questions I've kind of got, but I'm going to stick with another like time, because the first thing is a timing issue, and I'm taking myself right back, right, to like 2011, 2012, and the first one that comes to mind here was Max Payne 3. Bought that at exactly the wrong time, because it was right before we had a big crucial exam at uni. And I just remember thinking, man, why that feeling? And it was a very short term one, but it was the wrong time, because I remember that just sitting there, it's like, that's going to be the reward. Same thing happened, I think, the year prior with like Mass Effect 3, which is even worse because it's a big RPG. And it's just that feeling of, oh, damn, like, you know, I really want to get to this, but I can't. And I think you do get life moments in that. I mean, I've got a few other ones I'll say for later, but I don't know if there's like a particular, we're talking about timing, right? Is there a particular time of year for you, do you think, when you struggle with longer games? Because you mentioned it's all the Assassin's Creed ones. Me, I've said about Mass Effect 3 there. And for me, at this time of year is probably the worst time for me to get into a long game, like
especially as a parent. Like it's impossible now. It's going to come up later, Liam, right? And I'll leave it at that. But trying to play big fucking chunky games at this time of year with kids, we're talking about summer holidays. You've got all this other pish at play. Everyone's at home, especially for me, your wife now as well, but especially for us all, it's just everyone's at home, and it's just like you're not going to get a second to maybe sit down and play something for a bit. You're, as I say, you're just wanting to get in there and get out of there with something, you know. Like if you get 2 hours, you want to make it count, rather than just trying to fucking find question marks on a map. and clear the map off a wee bit. So it just feels like it's too much. I probably agree with you that this time of year is probably the worst for it.
Yeah, and I think like I love that feeling now, particularly over like the Christmas break, and you do have a little bit of a gap, and then you go into the January lull, which is great, and it's always like good to just kind of get lost. And I think some of the best memories I have with longer games always come at that time of year, and I'm hoping this time it'll be with like Grand Theft Auto 6, because to be honest with you, by the time that game comes out, it's like, yeah, I'm going to sit there for months. Spoiler alert, guys. But I'm just going to sit there and just enjoy my time in it instead of like rinsing it and moving on to the next. And there was an episode we did, like, it might have been at the start of the year, talking about slow gaming. Like Ghost of Yote was one. Thoroughly enjoyed that, and that came out towards the tail end of last year, I believe. Or was it the start of this year? I can't remember.
It was last year because I got
last year
for Christmas.
Yeah, tail end of last year, and that was great. And it was like a game that I still want to go back and platinum. But that's one thing I'm noticing more, is that when it comes to the timing thing and buying things at the wrong time, that window's getting increasingly smaller.
Yeah.
Because that whole wrong time window is actually growing.
Yes.
Because as you mentioned, like the kids are only getting bigger, and in your case, they're very small and they need way more attention. You know what I mean? So it's like that commands a lot more time, because they start to do like things in the evening, clubs and all the rest of that, and then it gets to weekends and, you know, seeing their pals, and before you know it, that little beautiful little pocket of time when they were, you know, in between the toddler and early school starts to vanish away. But it's not that you don't enjoy it. It's like, it's great. It's time well spent, 100%. And I know it's like in the back of my mind, it's like you're going to have a time where that little window comes back and you're going to feel a little sense of melancholy about it. But that's where the games will be there to pull you through. And it might be a time, you know, maybe 10, 15 years down the line, it's like, yeah, maybe I'll get back to these big chunky ones because game industry's died and there's no new games. But, you know, we'll be happy for it.
Maybe that's what we need, Liam. That fucking, you know, the hard reset. Just release Grand Theft Auto and then just stop all video game development and just let us catch up.
I mean, I've got a good one here for you, because we talk about like the wrong time as well, but that also applies to ones that you return to at a later date, right? So I know you're the king of this one's specifically, but have you restarted a game months later and loved it after maybe an iffy first impression?
A first impression? No, never. It's never happened to me. I'm definitely not one for doing that. But if I had to, you know, throw you a bone and give you something to talk about, I could probably talk about the biggest elephant in the room here, Liam.
Sure.
And you know, a game that I bought completely out of fucking nowhere that eventually has now become my entire personality. And that game is Dark Souls, Liam.
Oh yes, actually, yeah.
I remember walking up to the game in East Kilbride to buy Dark Souls and texting you that I have it in my hands, walking home, playing it for an hour, dying to the asylum demon and being like, this is fucking shite, fuck this. Like, what do you mean I can't just exit the game willy-nilly? I have to fucking go down the menu. No chance, I'm never playing this again. And I didn't, Liam. I didn't play it for years and years and years. And it wasn't really until I finished Dark Souls 3, finished Bloodborne, that I actually went back and finished Dark Souls for the first time. And you're probably only talking within the last 2 or 3 years that I've done it, and it's class. Like it's something that I think is complete necessary gaming. Like it's that's the biggest one for me, and it is a total like felony that it wasn't done earlier. I think that I would have become a different human being had I finished Dark Souls there and then. Maybe overcome more adversity in my life. But yeah, Dark Souls is the one.
I can distinctly remember the moment when you were trading that in, because you brought it in. We were at uni at the time, and we're on the staircase, and you're pulling it out your rucksack to play. I need to get rid of this fucking game. It's shite. It's just like, showing it as you're going to trade it in. And then you fast forward to it, and then it's like, I remember like Dark Souls 2. That was the moment I remember. It was like he's in hard. It's only just like a couple of years later, really, wasn't it? But getting stuck on Anus face, all that stuff as well.
I remember beating Anus face,
Yeah.
the last giant, for anyone who knows, and beating that for the first time and being like, "This is how you play this fucking game. This is how you do it." And then, the love affair starts there. Then
Yeah.
Bloodborne just fucking. It was, in fact, it was probably Dark Souls 3 that really convinced me in terms of, loving Dark Souls more than anything else. Dark Souls 3 was really what I needed, because I remember playing it at your stag do and I couldn't beat the last boss. And then I done it and it was like, oh God.
I had it on a projector. It was great.
So good.
That was actually 10 years ago, believe it or not.
I'm looking at, so in preparation for this, I was looking at, because I'm very good at taking pictures of games that I buy and just posting about them on Instagram when I was younger. And pictures from the stag do were popping up 10 years ago. So, oh God.
I know, mental. Man, where does the time go? I think there's one that I remember, and it was on my Xbox 360, and it was a game that I remember just being dead excited for, buying it and playing it, and it was myself that had realised that this is not just the wrong time, I might just be the wrong player. Something like your Dark Souls one, but it might surprise you, but it was actually BioShock in 2007. And you got to go back to the earlier days of the 360 with the demos, right? You could download demos and it was great. And I remember playing Dead Rising. I remember getting my hands on the BioShock demo as well. And the first time I had ever played it was actually at my brother-in-law's house. If he's listening, shout out to him. Because it was always a great time going over there. You'd get to experience, you'd get introduced to so much more other games. Certainly a tastemaker. And just like yourself, Scott, but it was playing it and I was dead excited. You'd be reading the magazines and then playing it. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm a coward. This might be a horror game. And it was just like getting into Rapture at first, and it was like, no, I don't want to do this. And I put it down, and you talk about a good few months, and I think I had reached a lull period, and obviously, I was still I would have been working part-time at the time, just before, I think I might have still been at school at this point. So it's not like you're buying games willy-nilly, but I had that sitting there, and it's stubborn me. I'm like, I'm not trading that in. I thought, let's just give it a go. And I remember just going back to it. This is over 6 months later, and on that second attempt, actually just pushing through it, and then realising, no, it's not that. It's just a bit of a spooky vibe, and I ended up just absolutely loving it. One of my favourite game worlds to ever be in. And it felt like a growth, a gamer growth moment where you're just kind of I can do these things if it's got the right action around it. And I was so happy about doing it. But it did teach me very early on, it's do a little bit more research so that, your timing will never be wrong in that sense, even if it is, if it was a me thing. I'm I just wasn't really ready at that time. And that can also play into the poor timing aspect of it as well. Expose yourself to a little bit more of some games before you jump in and buy them. Make use of more demos. Now, YouTube videos exist as well, so you can do a lot more research in terms of that buyer beware type thing. But yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where it's that can definitely help. But there's one as well for returning later. This will get you. So roughly about the same time, I was thinking here, has a handheld version ever helped me finally finish something as well? And I go all the way back to 2005 when I had the PlayStation Portable, PSP. And it was, I remember buying SmackDown versus Raw 2006 with one of my first jobs and pays. And I just that was back in the day when you're just doing the shite shifts. You know what I mean? You're working evenings, then you're working mornings, and you're just doing there's no routine. You're just taking whatever shift you can get.
Yeah.
So because of that, you'd be finished an evening shift straight into a morning shift. You've quickly learned, I don't really have time, so it was poor timing. But then I thought the thing that got me back into it was a handheld version. I remember getting it later that year on PSP, and I finally managed to actually sit and, I suppose, finish SmackDown versus Raw 2006 in terms of my career. And it was a bit more basic, but it was actually surprisingly good for a PSP game. I don't know if there's been, especially now you think about handheld versions, right?
Aye.
So has there been stuff there that you maybe tried to play and poor timing for whatever reason, but the handheld's been the key that's unlocked it?
I think I've spoken about it on the podcast a few times, but Baldur's Gate 3 is probably the biggest one on there. I would never have finished Baldur's Gate 3 if it wasn't for the Portal. There's no chance in hell that me playing that 2 hours a night was ever going to happen. But having the Portal there to actually do it was perfect. But if you're talking about SmackDown versus Raw on the PSP, Liam, I can't not talk about it. But I used to, every single time I had a FIFA back in the day, I used to always buy the PSP version for some reason. So get the UMD and play it on that. And I used to always do a career mode with Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Clinton Morrison up front, and I used to fucking absolutely love it. What was his name? Robbie Earnshaw up there as well. It's class. So it was just like always taken. I used to sort of prefer, even though the versions were pish, like they were always the worst versions to play, but it was always really fun just to have that game handheld to actually sit and play. So it kind of gave me that zone in there to do that. But to your point, 100%. Baldur's Gate 3. That game is a fucking behemoth. So trying to finish that somewhere that's not handheld is wild. So it was perfect for that. The Portal fucking earned its stripes that day.
Yeah, when I think of the PlayStation Portal, it does make me think of Baldur's Gate 3, fun enough, but it must have just been out roughly the same time.
Yeah.
Which is great. And the Portal's such a cracking wee device, man. Like it's just been kind of made slightly redundant just because of the other handhelds. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sure there's a way to use like that PX Play on Steam Deck as well, which basically just turns it into a Portal, because that's just a remote play app at the end of the day. That Portal, it's just just hard wired into it. But I'm thinking as well, like bad timing, and there's a lot from like that exam time. There was one that springs to mind, like it wasn't so much a bad timing for the game, it was a bad time to play the game, and it was Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, because I was just thinking back to then 20 years ago, and it's like how I nearly destroyed my standard grades just because I was like, you need to study, you need to prepare for these exams, but also Citadel, and it was like could not pull myself away from that game, man. Like, and I think back and I distinctly remember just like that exam period and just like floating through them in a way that I have no idea how I managed to come out the other end unscathed. And that's not a flex. I did obviously study, but I was like totally burning the candle at both ends, just like staying up and playing that, and then like taking the Xbox down the stairs into the living room. That's a big deal back in the day, right? Because you were never allowed to do that. And it's like, man, this is absolutely epic. I'm on exam leave and I get to play this on a big, 32-inch telly or whatever it was at the time. Like, it was unbelievable experience. But sometimes the bad timing argument can actually just be, life events like that getting in the road. And then I fast forward to something that might be akin to what you're experiencing now. Right? I've spoken about it before, but before I had my daughter, I went out and I bought 3 games on the same day in a total like doomsday prep.
Large.
Honestly, it was like, I'm just going to do it. It's the last hurrah. And those games were Super Mario Odyssey, Wolfenstein 2, and Assassin's Creed Origins, which was obviously terrible fucking timing to have not 1 but 2 but 3 fairly chunky games. 2 of them are at least, you can play them for well over 70 hours if you really wanted to. But they ended up becoming something like I went back to later once I'd got myself into a bit more of a routine. And I had beat Super Mario Odyssey before the wee one was born. So I thoroughly remember that, and it just reminds me of that time. You know what I mean? Like anything in life, there could be anything around there. Doesn't have to be a game, could be food, could be something else that just kind of takes you back. And I remember thinking, cool, 2 to go. By that point, I had ran out of road. It was like, it's not happening. And the first game I remember playing, as I said, like when she was born, was Wolfenstein 2. It was my wife saying, do you not want to play something? Like,
the 26th of November 2017 is when I bought Wolfenstein 2. So I've got a picture of it on Instagram as well.
I'm telling you, man. Like,
but I never played it. Never played it either, though. That's a fucking mad thing. Lord.
That's a very fucking good game. Hard. Surprisingly hard, but it's a very, very good game. Good story as well. But the one that will always stay with me is just that Assassin's Creed Origins, man. Like, when you go back to it after you've accepted the timing is poor and you're not going to be in that window, and you end up creating something like an even more special memory of that game. I suppose that leads me into the next question, but I mean, has there ever been a game that you've played that's got better because you played it away from the launch conversation. So if you bought a game on launch, poor timing for whatever reason, but then you've played it away from it and you feel like your enjoyment of it has been heightened.
Liam, what's my mantra for this show? My mantra for the end of every episode, basically.
Play Alan Wake 2.
There you go. That's the fucking one right there.
That's very true.
It completely changed my life when I fucking played that. February 2024. That would be. When did Alan Wake 2 come out?
Must have been in November, just prior to it.
So that came out the 27th of October 2023. So 4 months. Yeah, 4 months after. I remember buying it. I remember buying the game and just having it sit there, just being like, yeah, nah, don't want to play it.
Razzing you.
Too hyped up, you know? Like, everyone enjoying this. I'm a hipster. I can't play things that people enjoy. And I just remember turning that game on, playing through that first forest section at the beginning and just being like, fuck. God, here we go. And then everything is just put right into perspective by the old gods of Asgard. Like, it's done. The Herald of Darkness moment in that game is like nothing else. I want to relive that moment in my life, just walking through that fucking set all over again, because it is incredible. Like, you're walking through a fucking music video. That's basically all it is. But it's so good. And what a song as well. Oh my God. Play Alan Wake 2. Just play it.
Yeah. I'm with you in that. Scott's insistence on playing it got me to play it. I got past my cowardice and I was so happy. So happy to do it, because there's the cream rises to the top at the end of the day, doesn't it? And it's like, if a game's good, a game is fucking good. And in the case of Alan Wake 2, it's like, this is coming from a coward, right? I don't like your horror type games. You'll get through it. Like, there isn't actually, it's not like laden with all these shit your pants moments. There is one or two occasions where it's like, oh, right, okay, good one. But it's not like it's not going for like a Resident Evil kind of campy, so it's more campy than anything else, but it's not like that Resident Evil brand of campy horror, where it is very much, we are actually trying to almost disgust you and scare you at the same time, but it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's something else. It's grown up. It's that kind of very assault on all senses through all forms of media, Scandinavian vibe it's got going on, and it's a total masterpiece. But that's why it's called the Tastemaker, folks, at the end of the day. That's why it's called the Tastemaker.
What can I say? Hey,
there's also lots in there that we've got to get to the root cause, because it's like buying games at the wrong time is something I think every gamer can pretty much resonate with. We've all done it, right? And we'll keep doing it. Off the top, you can ask this as long as short as you want, but I mean, should we just stop buying games simply because they are new? Is that a way to kind of get around the timing issue, or is it just a case as life is always going to get in the way?
Fuck. I think the answer to the question is twofold. Because you're going to buy new games, whether they're new or whether they're old. Like, if they've been out for months, you're still going to buy that shit, right? But you want to be buying new stuff now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be watching the Odyssey next year. I want to watch it now, even though I'm probably not going to be able to watch it now. But I want to watch it now. I want to watch Brand New Day now. Like, I want to do it now. I don't want to wait and hear people's opinions on games before I play them, because it just ruins the experience for me. I feel like I'm thinking about it. It's why I don't listen to many reviews for games when I know the reviews on there, because I don't want that experience spoiled for me. So I don't want to be not even just part of the conversation, but I just don't want to have that enjoyment dictated for me. But also, new stuff's nice. Like, we live in a fucking shite timeline at the moment, Liam. Like, it's just, we have so many things just trying to fucking drag us down constantly. Rising prices of everything, world wars, fucking bad things happening in the world constantly. It could also just be pressures at home. It could be dealing with a newborn baby. It could be dealing with marital woes. Not me, by the way, just dealing with that in general. But cool. Like, everything's fine, by the way. But like, dealing with fucking things at home, the death of a family member or death of fucking illness or something like that. Like, it could be anything. Sometimes just buying yourself something new is nice, because it takes your mind off of that fucking pish for at least 10 minutes and you can enjoy that new thing, because it's nice to talk about it and it's nice to have that new thing. It's just, it is, but ultimately, it's also fine that, see, if you want to wait a few months, I know Pietro, who listens to the show, he loves a bargain.
Mm-hmm.
So he will probably not buy new things straight away unless he really wants to. And I think that's a good way to do things. Like,
Oh yeah,
and I
100%.
think that I've never listened to your wise words on Ubisoft games in terms of buying them months down the line because they always drop in price. I should listen to it because I never ever listened to the advice. Because I'd have saved myself hundreds of pounds by now by not buying Assassin's Creed Day One. But it's just nice to buy yourself stuff. That's all it is.
Listen, yeah, I'm with you on that. Retail therapy, as they say. But and on that side note, you'll absolutely be in for a treat when Black Flag comes down in price, because that is something you will want to go back to and enjoy because it's tremendous. But that's the other side of the coin. I think like being more savvy with it. Waiting for the sale. Absolutely the right thing to do, I think, because you win at the end of the day because it mitigates the risk. However, are these like type of discounts and stuff like that, do they also encourage bad decisions in terms of like poor timing for buying games? Because I can think of numerous times I've seen a game, and we've all done it. You finish your play session and you just scroll over to the PlayStation Store, if you look, or even now with the Steam sale. And it's like, I'm just going to just buy that just in case. I remember like that first exposure to the Steam store, like over the Christmas period. I had bought like Mad Max, Scott. And that was another game actually that I had bought at a piss poor time. You know what I mean?
Same time as fucking Metal Gear Solid 5. That's the same as me as Infamous Second Son. I bought that as the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, and there was no chance. There was no chance. But you're right, like it's just having this exposure to sales and just this amount of games all at once is nuts.
I know, and it's sometimes a bargain can force you into it's almost like, well, I have to do it now. Yeah. I did have to if I didn't. Like,
mate, I own the Kingdom Hearts collection on my Steam Deck. I might play them for a laugh, but it's like, I'll buy it just in case. Like, I mean, a fiver for all these games. Fucking too right, I'll buy it. It's stupid.
Aye. And there's sometimes as well, like, in the middle of a glut of releases, well, like, I haven't spoken about in the show before, like what I'll tend to do is I'll be sad and I'll just kind of put a wee tracker together, write it down somewhere, and I'll look at the releases and like, what's the ones that I know I'm definitely going to want to play? And I won't just go and just buy that willy-nilly. I'll just kind of like save or just kind of scheme, trade in stuff, whatnot. And it's like that will sort all that, and I'll just kind of load them all up at once and then just make my way through them. And that might not be in the same day. It could be the course of like a few weeks. I think it's always in October. October used to really fuck you. And I remember one year buying like Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Titanfall 2, like all at once, because it's like
fucking mental.
Well, we would have been in our pomp at online gaming, so like the online Wednesdays and all that as well. We'd have been right in the throes of that because it was before we had kids, and playing it and then trading like two of them in eventually, because it was just like, I think that might have been Infinite Warfare year, actually, come to think about it. So it was actually Battlefield 1 that came out, and it was the winner, which I would not have bet a horse on. Titanfall 2 came and went, it was we still get carried away with that campaign. But there's so many little excuses in there, and I look back at it, it's not so much a timing thing, like it's almost just it's a buying habits thing at the end of the day, like, and that just gets more and more under the microscope the older you get, because when you're an adult, for some strange reason, time goes by a lot quicker, but you seem to have so little of it. I don't know if that's just that sensation, and it could just be because we're spending most of our time in work.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? Like, forget like the kids and all that, partners, pets, all that stuff compound it even further, which is just heartbreaking. We just want to be left alone, leave us alone, just for a controller. That's what we want. And then you chuck in other parts as well, man.
Yeah.
Like subscriptions, Game Pass, PS Plus, all the rest of that. Like, you talk about, you might not have bought it, but you've acquired the game, and it just doesn't make it easier to abandon them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the other part of it. But you had mentioned there, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just sometimes nice just to treat yourself, as they say. And you do need that wee bit of retail therapy. How many times have we seen it? It's like, fuck, I'm just going to get it to treat myself. And is it just simply like buying the game is just part of the excitement, even when you know you're not going to see it all the way through? You know what I mean? That's a big question. I mean, how many people out there bought Baldur's Gate 3, played it for 10 hours and put it down? You know what I mean? How many people out there bought, Skyrim? Same thing. Red Dead Redemption 2, another one. Oh, you played Skyrim for a bit. You give yourself more credit than that. But it's like Red Dead Redemption 2 is another one. Good 3 hours into it. Half-hour curry.
I was just making daggers. I was just making daggers and fucking wind the first rifting. No, it's no rifting. I can't even remember half the fucking places in Skyrim.
God, that destroyed me. See, when that came out that year as well, it was a particularly bad winter, and it was just fucking perfect to have a game like that.
You sound like a fucking a Victorian man. It was really bad winter that year.
It was like Beast for the East year or something. I'm sure it was.
Was it Beast for the East? I think winter's like December. I look at seasons and like months. Like I don't really look at because I think Beast of the East was like January or some shit.
Aye, but it's still technically been.
Winter, but I just don't see time like that. I'm a fucking idiot.
I know, but it's we all know, Scott. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one. I reckon like most players would probably be the same thing. And it could just be a timing thing. Could also just be the game's just not caught them as well. But it is one of those things that. But
you're talking about fucking huge games though. That's the problem. The games are fucking enormous. It's like The Witcher for me. Like The Witcher 3, I played that fucking a good bit, and then it just couldn't be asked anymore. And then I wrote about it on our old website because it was too long. It's just sometimes it is the wrong time just because it's too long.
Yeah. And there's ones that I'm looking at the list now for the year ahead. There's ones in there that's like I'm excited for, but it's like I know it'll just be poor timing. Yeah. Like later this month, we'll be in different sides of the fence, but like the Metal Gear Solid collection, you know what I mean, with Metal Gear Solid 4. And obviously, it's unfair for you right now at this stage of life because it's like it's old, like questionable timing at least for the weeks ahead, but you're still going to go get it just to have it as part of the collection. Because
I'll buy it just as a collector. But you're right, like it's a stupid month for it. There isn't really anything. Is there anything else this month that you're?
Me, I mean, I suppose like if I think about Tokon Fighting Souls, right, is kind of top of the tree, and I'm like, right, if I'm not fully in on that, that's something that I'm probably going to play a few times, and that's going to be dependent on how often my son wants to play it, and if we can get to play it, you know what I mean. Obviously, August 2026 video games. We're going to have a wee look now, right? Because
I'm looking at it now, so it's like you've got Beast of Reincarnation, which is out. You've got A Plague Tale Legacy coming out the 27th. Star Wars Zero Company coming out the 27th. Mortal Shell coming out the 20th. Metal Gear Solid coming out the 27th. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is the 6th. The Sinking City 2, if you care. Dusk Fade, Mafia, The Old Country, Big Walk, another one that's come out.
Yeah.
But then, Liam, as a Switch 2 owner, you could also be owning Elden Ring on the 28th. If you want to play Elden Ring on your Switch 2. You've got Oblivion Remastered on the 11th on the Switch as well. And on the 6th, Liam, Lies of P coming out on the Switch 2 as well, which might be the perfect place to play it.
Funnily enough, that's probably going to be. I'll stake a claim here. That'll be the thing that runs best on that machine.
I think you're probably right. To be honest with you, there's other games out there as well. Like this fucking, as I say, you've got Sovereign Tower coming out on. I think that's on the 6th as well. There's other smaller games on there as well, but it's Final Fantasy. Was it 14? 14. Realm Reborn came out on Switch 2 as well, which something that's interested me in the last few days, but I have no time.
You think about, like, I'm not even thinking about August. I'm like, I think I'm just going to enjoy. You know what I mean? I think A Plague Tale Legacy, I'll probably play that in Game Pass just to check it out. Star Wars Zero Company also looks really cool, but it's not something I'm rushing out to buy. Like, it's just, that kind of whole XCOM type combat looks really cool. And the Star Wars thing, I think that might just be a wee secret sleeper hit, but it'll find its audience, kind of like the way Midnight Suns did.
Yeah.
But but then you look at it's the start of September. So we talked about big games, right? And I'm talking about potential like bad timing, Liam. It's the Blood of Dawnwalker.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Barring like they say even if I've got that game to review, right? It's like that's going to be a big ass game. It's like less than 2 weeks later, you've got Wolverine out.
You can do that in 2 weeks now. Easy.
I couldn't. I don't.
Easy peasy.
In the past, not now. I mean, like September next month is going to be filled with all these everything we've been talking about with bad timing, targeted specifically at you. Like, Onimusha and all that. Silent Hill, Townfall, all the rest. Like
it's my big
scary.
concern. I've but I've sort of reasoned with myself that there's no chance I'm going to get all the games that I want in September, right? Because it's just not going to happen. So I've sort of made myself the pact that I've already got Onimusha that I pre-ordered, so that's already there and done. Fire Emblem is already done as well. So like, I'm hoping that the wee man is able to sleep even just a wee bit better, so I can play Onimusha and enjoy it. Fire Emblem on the Switch, even if he's not sleeping, I can play that handheld. It'll be perfect. Wolverine Control and the Blood of Dawnwalker might as well not exist. Silent Hill is something I'll probably buy Christmas time just to kind of tide me over. But it's just trying to manage that, because as you're saying, we're talking about wrong time. Onimusha's going to be small enough that I'll be able to finish it before Fire Emblem, hopefully.
Oh, you'll easily finish that. I mean, I honestly think that's going to be like at most 15, 20 hours at very most. But it will have lots of replay value, which is good.
That's the problem, though, is it? And a platinum trophy and stuff like that, and things with it as well, might be fucking done. But it's it's just becoming cognizant of the fact that I'm not going to have all this fucking time in the world to fart out and play these games. It's very much a case of being selective in what I'm trying to play and stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think to kind of close it out for me, it's like one of the big lessons is as you get older, and I suppose particularly like for us, like for the kids the ages that they're at, is that very slow acceptance that there is a element of risk that any game you buy is the wrong time.
Yeah,
and it's a divine miracle that we still obviously managed to find a way to plug through it in their own way. And that's kind of what this show's about. It's a place to gather and congregate and talk about it. And that's been great. And we'd be doing the exact same if this show didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that slow realisation that basically every time that I'm buying a game is probably at risk of being the wrong time, just because you just don't know. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. I think that's you make your peace with it, I think is what I'm trying to say, because regardless if it's the wrong time, I think any time that I'm going to spend playing something, I'm feeling just a little bit better and I'm enjoying myself and I've got that distraction that I want just for that little hour. And I think at the end of the day, we all need that, don't we? And that's on top of all the things we haven't talked about, in addition to it. Like you mentioned that 2 hour gap, right? Sometimes, you might want to play games, but maybe you just want to like watch piss on the telly or scroll TikTok or something like that.
That's the problem. I've been watching fucking Mad Men the whole time. I've watched almost 5 seasons of Mad Men since he's been born, which is mad. And I've just been pounding through episodes. It's been men. It's been incredible to kind of sit down and do it. So but you do it. It's mad.
I mean, over this summer, I've started a Letterboxd account, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. It was actually with mutual on Blue Sky and from Twitter. Crash Screen, but he's started one and encouraged us, and I was like, oh, I'll do that, and he became my only friend on that, which is great. If you're on Letterboxd, let me know. But I've thoroughly been enjoying just kind of like catching up on all these films that over the last couple of years that I've watched through alleged means, and it's been great, just kind of checking out all these films, reviewing them, and it's just been good to kind of diarise that. I'm thinking I might need to go back to backlogged and start doing that with games. But I think because we do that in the show, like I actually really thoroughly enjoyed, talking about the games and the films and all the media stuff that you get to go through, because it's nice, it's nice to kind of converse and discuss them as, what they are, piece of art at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, any closing thoughts from yourself on the main topic, Scott, before I move into the spicier segment?
The fucking farts.
There you have it. Every time is the wrong time to buy a game. That's our consensus. But let us know if you've got any examples yourself in the comments and that below. Always good to hear from you. Before we get to the last segment, just a little reminder, the Pixel Pix replay game for this month is Starfield. Now, Scott has actually went out and acquired Starfield on PlayStation 5, people. So he's committed. He's committed. Are you? We reminder, it is our video game book club. We're inviting all of our viewers and listeners to join us as we're replaying the top 100 video games of all time from that hallowed Pixel Pix list. So at the end of the month, we'll bring you a little retrospective chat on Starfield, and we'll pick a new game selected at random from the list. But yeah, I still need to load it up. I went back to Starfield a few months ago and playing it in the ROG, so I might actually just make use of the xCloud for this stuff rather than kind of download another 100 gig. I find the Series X just fucking eats through memory like nobody's business, man. But it's probably because I've still got Call of Duty on it, to be fair. But I am looking forward to it. I'm very intrigued to see what Scott makes of it, going back to it. But yeah, you need to come back at the end of the month when as well. Just go to our Patreon note to share your thoughts if you're going to join us along in that as well. But I digress. Spicy time. It's time for Gamer Caught, which is the segment where one of us brings a gaming opinion to the stand. The other plays judge and jury, and by the end we'll decide whether it's a fair take or a gaming crime, or even if it's a hung jury and we can't agree. Scott, you are in the dock first, Scott, this week. Now, you were the first person to have a guilty verdict. He had a record, people, a record. So I'm keen to know, what is your case this week?
So it's kind of, it's sort of double conjoined in terms of the way I'm looking at this. My first gripe is that open world games have become too big, right? Full of guff, full of nonsense. Think Crimson Desert, right? Think Crimson Desert. Full of shite, right? Mm-hmm. But that a game being open world doesn't necessarily always make it good. But there seems to be this correlation that people love massive open world games because of the massive open world in it. Let me take away Crimson Desert because I don't like Crimson Desert. Let me focus on a game that everyone loves, Liam. Right? Let me focus on a game that everyone loves. And that game is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Mm-hmm. Now, that game's open world. This is my hot take, Liam.
For God's sake.
Is that The Legend of Zelda's Breath of the Wild open world is not good. It is a bad open world game. That Breath of the Wild would have been a better game had it been a tighter experience. That exploration, the fact that you can see the map on your phone and you're fucking doodling about and fucking scooting about and here and there and everywhere, it's pointless. There are moments in that game where you're running about like, where the fuck am I going? It's too vast and too big for what it is, for the constraints that it places on you. The fact that they have to give Link a motorbike says everything that you need to know about that game. Like, it's just too big. And I know it's a fucking guilty verdict here. I know it's a guilty verdict because The Legend of Zelda is fucking, it's in everyone's hearts and everyone fucking loves Breath of the Wild. But I fell off Breath of the Wild for this exact reason, is because the open world was not great. I'm trying to avoid saying pish because I keep on saying pish, but it was rank rotten. Like, the open world element of that was crap. So I think if it was a tighter, smaller experience with similar survival elements in it, it would have been a better experience for me. We're talking about one of the most beloved games of all time, but nonetheless, Scott, it has a terrible open world.
Okay, the court must ask here, is your case being brought against open world? Because this is a case within a case. Is your case the original pitch that open world games are too vast and that doesn't make it good, or is your case against The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild open world? We need that clarity because that is going to impact the verdict here.
Both in my own head, but I'm going to stick with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild just for the content.
I think I am going to have to put a guilty case on this one, Scott. I think that is horrendous, because you enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom.
It's a better game, and
it is a better game,
and the hand, the fucking what do you call it? The building system where you can make vehicles made it better to traverse through that world. The Breath of the Wild was a total slog to get through because it didn't have that.
I think it was more it was by design with Breath of the Wild, I would say, to create that vastness and that sense of scale and openness, but also to really, it wasn't like an original open world game, and also you're going back to like Ocarina of Time if you want to just start talking about OGs. And it's like with Breath of the Wild, that sense and scale of just being left to your devices within this world was actually very liberating, but it was the systemic gameplay within that, if you're going to that camp full of bokoblins, the weather system, the controversial degradation of like your weapons, everything in there, but you had the gliders, you had all that stuff, and it was just, the game was almost trying to remove your need to be dependent on maps and all the rest of it. If anything, it's probably a case with an open world I've used the map the least, because it's almost like, what's that over there? I'm going to go check it out before you know you're in a different part of the world, and it wasn't leading you. I mean, the whole infamous thing about, you can go take on Ganon straight away. If you want to, you'll die, but you can go do that. And it was the whole point in the game was to be open, literally from top to bottom. It's that whole thing. It's like, you're out. You could just go make life hard for yourself and take them on, or you can go here, or you can go there, and it's very much by design. However, even though we appreciate subjectivity in this court, we do. I'm slapping a guilty take on your ass. You're 2 for 2, son.
Game's too big.
2 for 2.
That's what makes it so difficult to go back to, though. Is that vastness of it? It's like, why would I want to try and experience that all over again? Linear Zelda games are better. It's
that adventure thing, though. It makes games like that special, but it does make it hard to go back to. Like Tears of the Kingdom as well, like 2 peas in the pod. I have a friend who doesn't really like Tears of the Kingdom because it's just Breath of the Wild again. So I totally get that, because it is like that same map, but they did the same thing. They added that underworld, they added even more into the Sky Islands, and it was just like they built it top to bottom, literally, as opposed to out. They did let's build it outward for Breath of the Wild, and then they just added the verticality in the second one, which is quite a clever way to kind of reuse the assets. But it's insane how they fit all that on that what do you call it, that card, to be honest with you. Tears of the Kingdom in particular, it blows my mind every time I think about it. But I'm very intrigued to hear your thoughts on it when you go back, just even if it was, I don't see you finishing it. But then again, we could have said that when you were at the start of your Zelda replay journey anyway. You know what I mean? So I didn't see you finishing Ocarina of Time and all that this year. I'm praying for Majora's Mask run. Let's make it happen, people. Let's make it happen.
Did the thought of doing that, I've watched gameplay things of it and speedruns of it and stuff, and the convoluted nature of it might genuinely give me fucking aneurysms, but
I think you get obsessed. I'll get obsessed with that game.
I'll have a look at it. I bought it to 3DS back in the day.
It's still my favourite Zelda game to this day, even though I'm very much looking forward to Ocarina. Anyway, I digress. I believe it's my time to go in the dock, Scott. So you're now going to be the judge, jury, and executioner. It's a nice simple one for you. Right? I've tried to condense this down into like a case statement for you this week. So here we go. Listen, it's going to be quick. We shouldn't glaze or condemn a game for being either indie or AAA. Good game's a good game, bad game's a bad game, but sitting in one camp is just akin to a modern console war mentality. End statement.
The easiest. Fucking nothing controversial there. I think that's fair enough. Right? I think that there's too many people who want to shit on AAA games and too many people who don't want to give the time of day to indie games. Opening your heart to indie games has changed my life, but also I love AAA games. It's like you can enjoy all games of any ilk, and that's fine.
What's my verdict?
Not guilty. Guilty,
There
what
we
is
go.
it? Not guilty,
guilty.
aye.
It's a fair
It's
case. We gotta take that.
you need to rock the boat, Liam, here. You need to rock the boat.
No, Joe, but I think that I've brought that to the case just because I saw things pondering it, because I have noticed something, particularly in Age of Blue Sky. And I think it's same with you. Like, you know, if you open yourself up to the wider spectrum of game development projects out there, like indie games is where you're going to get that creative sauce, AAA safe bets, but you still get quality. Not in all cases, you'll get stuff that's rushed to market and absolutely pig shit to run. Same can be said for indie games as well, to be fair. But it's more that thing I've noticed that, like, we don't really get console warring anymore, or platform warring, but that modern day version of it is some people that's like almost navel gazing if you were to enjoy a AAA game, and vice versa. It's like, how would you enjoy an indie game that looks pure shite? And I'm like, it's just silly. It's just something else. It's just that kind of modern version of that mentality that you have to be so tribal. And it's like, you're not going to get bonus points. So if you just champion indie games, if you just champion AAA games, weirdly, you're not going to get any points. It's good that you find your niche, but to sit and make that point as if you're going to be elevated, or to put other people down, I don't know, man. It's pure neckbeard material.
It's true.
That's the way I look
It's
at
very
it.
true.
But maybe this is the case for me getting my soapbox. I promise then to up next week from the jalapeno to the habanero. That's my promise for you, Scott. I'm gonna chuck something at you that will shock Scott Curry to his very core. Stay tuned. But with that, Gamer Court is adjourned, so if you've got a case you'd like us to hear, just send it our way. It might just be in trial next week. But it does bring us to the end of this week's podcast, so thank you once again for joining us. And remember to support small independent games media. So if you like what you hear and enjoy the show, share it on social media, tell your pals about us, leave a wee 5-star review, whatever you're doing. It makes a massive difference and helps us greatly. If you can, also remember, go and join our free Patreon community at patreon.com/pixelparents. And if you also can, go to YouTube, subscribe to us, youtube.com/@pixelparentspodcast. Things are cooking over there. It's great to see you on there. Scott, it's test time. Where can people find you if they want to see more of you on Blue Sky?
Blue Sky, llamaman.bsky.social. I'll be there fucking reading posts and talking shite. I am going to leave though, because my son is going fucking mental.
Go forth, I'll close this out.
You close it out, but I hate every single one of you, and fucking play Sovereign Tower.
There we go.
Goodbye.
There we go. See you next week. That is the realities of having a small child. But if you want to get me on Blue Sky, you can get me at carmelite.bsky.social. Huge thank you to our producer and music man, talented and handsome Mr. Sean Murray. Go show him some love. Check out his work on Instagram at barehandsdesigns and barehandsdesigns.com. You can also get all the next episodes on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social. Even write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. But wherever you are, just like, share, subscribe, and as we always say, just play some damn games. But until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thanks for listening. And maybe play Alan Wake too.